Good morning guys and welcome back to the channel. Thanks once again for joining me. So while I tied my shoelace up, just thought I'd say thanks for everybody tuning in last week, or a couple of weeks ago should I say. It's really great to be back shooting landscapes again and making these videos, and thanks for everybody's comments too. That was great, and a few people saying they got notified as well about my videos being uploaded, which is really cool and good to hear. So today we're at a new local woodland. It's actually an ancient woodland situated in the heart of Pembrokeshire, which is my new home. If you've not been following this channel, or you're new to this channel, or you've just catching up after the break that I had, we've now moved from central England to quite a remote area of Pembrokeshire in West Wales. An amazing location, full of amazing landscapes such as this one. We've got over 186 miles of national park coastline, which I intend to explore every inch of, and some amazing ancient woodlands. We're not too far away from the mountains of Brecons and Snowdonia as well, which is an hour and a half's drive. So much to explore, a lifetime of landscape photography opportunities, which I just can't wait to get stuck into. I really can't, and hopefully take you guys along for the journey as well. But today I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of landscape photography that don't necessarily get spoken about too much on the internet. So if, for example, you do a little internet search for landscape photography, you'll more than likely be bombarded full of ideas of what not to do, what to do, what gear to buy, what equipment not to buy. You should be getting this, you should be getting that, and it's all a little bit overwhelming. But I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of landscape photography, the real reasons why I do it, and hopefully just share a few ideas with you whilst I explore this local woodland that we've got here. See if I can come up with a couple of images today as well. So there's also the monthly challenge winners gallery coming at the end of this video as well. So if you're not sure about what that's all about, please go and check out the Photographers Clubhouse, which is my online photography club. Every month we do a photography challenge. Last month's challenge was woodland colour. There are some amazing images that were sent in, so the top 10 challenge winners will have their photos displayed at the end. I'll also put my entries in there as well, so you can take a look at those. And there's also a monthly video that goes along with that challenge as well, which is on the club. So every month I take part in the challenge and upload a video onto the club there. So fancy checking that out, please be sure to hop over to the website. I'll leave the link in the description. Anyway, let's go and see what we can find, and then we'll chat a little bit more about the benefits of landscape photography. So one of the main benefits of landscape photography is exercise. Now, for me, when I'm factoring in a landscape photography trip, I tend not to opt for parking the car, setting the tripod up and taking a photograph. I much prefer to incorporate a walk or a hike into that trip. So for example, like this one today, I'm exploring a new location in my local woodland. It's a 5-mile circuit, so park the car and I've headed out on this 5-mile walk. And at the end of the day, like if I don't get a photograph today, I'll have had an absolutely amazing walk. And the benefits of walking obviously are, mental well-being, health, so many different benefits, aren't there? You always feel amazing after a great walk, especially if you've visited somewhere new and explored a new location, especially if you get some beautiful tranquil conditions like this. The solitude, the peace and quiet can have such a positive effect on your mental well-being. So even if you don't manage to get a photograph, you'll have always had a great day, and that is probably one of the biggest benefits of landscape photography in my eyes. This woodland is particularly gnarly, twisted, lots of twisted oaks, which are always amazing, lots of character, full of character. Yeah, it would be really cool to be able to get an image here today. However, quite often twisted gnarly oaks, especially when they're all twisted together, can be quite difficult, can be quite challenging to photograph. So trying to find something is always a bit of a mission, but it's something I thoroughly enjoy actually, trying to find compositions in the woodland. I find it very, very therapeutic, which kind of leads me on to my next major benefit of woodland photography. Now, I practiced yoga over the last year, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the benefits that brings to not only obviously relaxation but the physical aspects of it as well. It's extremely good for the body, and actually I feel that landscape photography has a similar effect on me. You know, obviously the exercise part that we've just talked about is great, but also that meditative kind of feeling you get when you're out and about in a very secluded, isolated location, especially when you're channeling your energy into trying to find a composition. I find that really soaks up all of your energy and can really take you away from like the everyday stresses of life. So for example, if you work in an office or something like that, when you're stuck in front of a computer, like I spend a lot of time editing, you know, it's great to be able to get away from the computer, get away from the office, the emails, and be able to soak in an environment which is completely different, but immerse yourself in that environment as well. So when you're looking for compositions, especially in a location like such as this, where you've got so many gnarly trees all twisted together and you're trying to factor in what would work best for a photograph, you can lose yourself for hours. And I find that process of losing yourself within the environment really relaxing, actually. I find it incredibly rewarding as well. But when I get back, I always feel like, you know, so many hours have passed, but it always seems like, you know, the click of a fingers. So those benefits, I think, are extremely rewarding for mindfulness, relaxation, and you know, the therapeutic side of the outdoors. So yeah, anyway, I haven't found anything yet. Time to stop waffling, time to see if we can find a composition. For some reason, something has drawn me to this particular location. We've got a little path that meanders through this little section of woodland, and we've got all these twisted oaks here. There's a couple of larger trees to the left and the right which frame the composition, and then there's all these forked, twisted, gnarly oaks in the background. Now, I'm hoping that by overexposing this image a little bit, it's going to add in a very, very light, hazy feel to this image. Now, there is definitely some mist hanging around in the air. There's some drizzle coming down. It's virtually dark, even though it's only 1 p.m. So yeah, it's quite an interesting sort of scene to shoot. I'm trying to make the best of it, I think. Hopefully I am doing that. To the right hand side, there's a big expanse of ferns, and there is a lot of space there where nothing's really happening, whereas the rest of the scene, it's really, really quite busy. So that's my sort of doubt about this image. The eye does get drawn through the ferns in the natural sort of tunnel that we've got here that forms naturally with these oak trees that are leaning to the left and to the right. So maybe that helps the composition, perhaps. The issue I've got is probably the pathway leads you the opposite way. So I've got conflicting ways in which I look around the image. My sort of left eye wants to take me through the pathway, whereas my right eye wants to take me up where the ferns are. So whether that's not probably going to work so well, I don't know. But maybe with a bit of dodging and burning, I can kind of accentuate where I want the eye to be drawn through the image. So that's maybe something I can work on in post-production. But yeah, chaos, I think, is if I was going to name an image, I would name this chaos for sure. But yeah, I think it looks all right. Settings wise, I'm at a second at f13, so that's telling you how dark it is right now. ISO 160, focused on the nearest tree. That gets me everything I want to get sharp. The main subjects, if you like, in the image, that gets those sharp. The very, very far background just falls out of focus a little bit, which I think helps to add separation. So using depth of field to control the separation. So could be one of those that look better on the camera than they do on your screen. Anyway, let's have a little wander down the trail, see what else we can find, and we'll talk about some more benefits of being out in a wonderful location such as this. So it's brightened up a little bit now since taking that last photo, which is nice. Still a bit of rain coming down as well, which is nice, and I always like damp conditions when I'm out in the woodland. So one thing I never considered when I started landscape photography was how many people I would actually meet along the way. Now it's incredible really, like every time I'm out I always bump into somebody, perhaps not in a remote location like this, but say you're in the Brecons or Snowdonia or somewhere like that, and you bump into somebody else setting their tripod up, you go over, have a little chat and a bit of a natter, maybe exchange Instagram accounts or something like that. And it's a great way of keeping in touch with people and meeting new people, it really is. Even, you know, joining a local camera club or something like that. So there's definitely a social aspect, a social benefit from landscape photography. Just by getting out there and shooting, you know, you meet people. For example, one of the first YouTube videos I ever created was in the Peak District, a location called Crome Hill. Fantastic area. When I was up there at dawn, and I happened to bump into another couple of chaps up there, and yeah, I got talking to him. And one of the guys actually, we sort of interacted quite a bit on social media afterwards, and he said he was looking to get into shooting weddings and that type of thing. So he actually came and second shot with me on numerous occasions actually. This was about probably 4 years ago, something like that now. But yeah, it was incredible really, just by meeting each other on the side of a mountain, you know. So, you know, you can meet all sorts of people when you're out and about shooting landscapes, and it's really interesting. Just the other week I was up in the Brecons. There were quite a few people up there actually, a couple of people that watched the channel. It was just nice, had a good chat with them. So yeah, it's all, you know, the social aspect of it is something I never considered actually when I first started picking up the camera and shooting landscape. So that's another huge benefit, I would say, to landscape photography. I really could do with finding another image today. Just look at that gnarly woodland behind me. Incredible, isn't it? So I was just about to pack up when I stumbled across this really cool little spot here, and I think it's again very, very chaotic, but there's certainly something that's drawn me to it. And I think what it is when I look down this very, very steep embankment, all I can see is the twisted gnarly trees, but beyond that is the water. Because it's such a grey day, that water is a really, really sort of gunship, battleship grey, it really is. And the lichen on all of these oaks really pop against it. The light green colours really pop against it. And we've got amazing bracken down here, such as ferns and heather and holly as well, with the berries on. There's all sorts going on. It looks amazing, it really does. It's a bit of an attack on the senses, if you like. We've got heaps of different branches, but I think there's some kind of symmetry here that's kind of drawn me into it. There's definitely some framing, there's definitely some symmetry. So we've got a tangled mess of branches, which hopefully I can find some calming structure to, if you like, some flow, some rhythm. Yes, so that's what I'm going to be working on. But before I take this image, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the enjoyment side of photography, especially landscape photography. Now, it should be a really enjoyable process. I think I've found this a few times when I've run one-to-one workshops with people and they're just getting back into photography. Maybe they've taken a few years out, and the reason that they took that break was because they weren't enjoying it or they were becoming frustrated by it. And I completely sympathise with that. I can really understand the reasons behind that. I think one of the main ones is, you know, not coming away with a photograph. I think to really enjoy landscape photography, you need to be very, very comfortable about maybe going out for the whole day and not coming home with an image. And it kind of ties me back into what I was talking about with the exercise and the mental health, all of those aspects of being out, enjoying the countryside. And if you do come back with a photograph, it's a bonus. If not, then you've enjoyed an amazing experience being out for the day in an incredible environment. So I think you really need to enjoy every single process of landscape photography, and, you know, right from the scouting, the packing your gear up, getting to your location, exploring, taking some images, getting back, post-processing, cleaning all your gear down. That whole package needs to be fun, and I think it's one of the things that gets glossed over a lot with landscape photography. Everybody seems to dive into the technical aspects of it, and it all can become quite serious, but it should be an incredibly fun and enjoyable process. If you're finding it frustrating, just strip it all back, work out why it is you're being frustrated and what it is you actually really want from a day of landscape photography. For me, the photos are a bonus. If I come away with an image, then great. If not, you know, I've just enjoyed a fantastic day out. So that's my approach. I always lower my expectations, especially if I'm coming to a new location such as this. I never, you know, anticipate getting an image from today. But if I can learn something about the local environment and maybe come back, like I've noticed there's heaps of bluebells here, so I'll definitely return in spring. If there's only one little takeaway from the day, it's a winner. So let's get this composition sorted out, this tangled mess, try to find some symmetry here, see if we can finish off with an image. Please be sure to stick around until the end, because we've got the challenge winners from the photography club to take a look at. There's also a couple of images from me on there as well. Please be sure to check out the Photographers Clubhouse if you fancy supporting the channel, getting involved behind the scenes and taking part in all of the things going on over there. So yes, let's grab this image now and I'll say goodbye. See you in a couple of weeks.